Reverend Josh Telecki, who's going to bring us the message, prayer, meditation, all that really good stuff. Yeah. Thanks, John.
What's really cool is I get to hug Joe 3 times every service. When I first get here, and then during the piece, and then right up here before I get to speak, so that's really cool. And sometimes before I leave too, so that's 4 times, yeah. So September is embracing change. And there's a lot of changes going on in each of our individual lives, so this is a pertinent topic for that. I mean, we can't control the changes. They're just going to happen whether we like it or not. And they can be very helpful for us if we allow them to be that way, or they can create a lot of havoc and suffering in our lives if we resist change. So I figured I was going to choose the Eastern religions to give us some more insight into embracing change, because I think they do a lot better job at that than some of the Western religion in America and Christianity. The Eastern religions are about going with the flow, acceptance, meditation. Not that in the Western isn't, it's just more of an obvious thing. So I chose yoga. And I chose a reading from the Gita, and just to really define yoga, it's about making union. It's about unity, bringing oneself into awareness of who you really are, union with the divine, and knowing that as yourself, and staying in that center through all the changes in your life. So if you can stay in the center, if you can feel that yoga, that presence, that divine energy, which can only be experienced in the present moment, then all the changes in your life really aren't that important. Whether they be something really awesome on the external plane, or something like devastating, like someone that you love dying, or a disease, that they're going to affect you, and you're going to feel some sadness and loss and grief at times, but ultimately they don't change who you really are, which is the God self, which is the eternal self, which is that real self inside. So embracing all the stuff that's occurring in your life is the only way ultimately to know that real self. And Unity, I feel like, does a pretty good job at that. There's some podcasts I listen to online, radio, Unity online radio. Jennifer Hadley, she does a little piece on the Course in Miracles. I'll listen to her at times, and she gives some pretty good insights into that. And there's a lot of other teachings out there that are helpful in helping you embrace change. And yoga has formulated 4 of them. I mean, in Hinduism from a long time ago, and they kind of correlate with the Course in Miracles and Unity in the same stroke. And those 4 are the path of love, the path of knowledge, the path of devotion, which is actually the path of love, but then there's the path of karma and the path of meditation. Now, the path of meditation also includes like psychosocial exercises, controlling your mind and body, which you'll see the people doing the yoga. Really, that's what yoga is about. When you see a class like the gym, up at Planet Fitness or the Y or whatever like that, and they're trying to get more in shape and all that, that's not really yoga at all. Unless they're doing that to experience going to that union. Unless the goal of that is to experience union with the divine. All right? Control the mind and body so I'm not distracted by the changes of the world. Now, Unity Church does that too. Before the service, there's a meditation out there. There's prayer. Prayer is about centering yourself. And I would say that'd be more in the path of love. The path of devoting yourself. Oh, I love God. Show me the way. I don't know. And then there's a path of works. We got people coming in here doing works to keep this church going. It's the path of experiencing the divine. And then there's also the path of knowledge, which is studying a lot of the scriptures, which is having an understanding of the supreme self, the divine self. So we're all using these different facets to experience enlightenment, to experience yoga in our own way, our own individual way. But we come together as one with it. Because the experience of yoga, the experience of the divine self, is love and is really ultimately the same for each of us, that experience, beyond our personality. It may show up in our lives on an individual plane differently. We might perceive it differently, have different feelings about it. But that love, it's the same, it's the one God. There isn't a different God. There's one God, experienced in maybe 8 billion different ways sometimes. But it's just one. Unity, yoga, all these different ways we talk about it, it's the same thing. And it's not we can go into this like smorgasbord of different spiritual traditions, and that can be a trap too. Because what will happen with an individual that does that is they will pick up a particular path, say it's yoga, say it's the Course of Miracles, say it's unity, and they will dabble in it for a while until they feel a resistance. They'll read a scripture, or they'll go to a service, and they'll hear something, I don't like that. So then they'll switch to a different path until they get that good feeling again. So they're letting their mind control the process instead of God. All right? Because that message, that resistance that came up that I talked about at the beginning, that we don't like, through that is awakening. Through that is healing. So the resistance is there for healing. When it comes up, we need to look at that resistance. Not avoid it, because ultimately resistance, change, avoiding denial, all those other things are ego devices. And if they're there for our healing. They're there for us to look at and to let go of. And they can actually be fun, too. You can explore your mind and be like, oh wow, there's that resistance again that I've been repeating in my mind for the last 20 years. There it is again. Oh man. That person I saw, I was at a wedding over the weekend. My brother-in-law got married. And say there's a person there that brought something up. It may be a different person, but they brought up the same story that triggered that resistance in me. And I can look at that if I'm aware of it. I'm like, oh wow, there's that resistance again. Do I want to say something back to them? Do I want to get into some righteous, discussion here? No, I don't. I want to look at that resistance, I want to let it go, and I want to have fun. And you can be curious about your mind. And I feel like that's a part of the meditative part of all this, meditative yoga. It's just being curious about your mind and being still and looking at things as they are. You gotta look at things as they are, being honest with yourself. If you still have nightmares and fears from 20 years ago that you're dealing with, you gotta get honest with that. If things are still being triggered in your life and you still feel guilt or shame about something, then you gotta get real with that and expose it to spirit. And find your own individual path to let that go. Whatever that is. Maybe you already know what that is, and just devote yourself to it. Now that doesn't mean you can't add other ones on. Okay? And maybe you don't have any particular path at all, but you just listen to God. So then just do that. Just listen to the Spirit. I got a friend, he doesn't subscribe to any particular path except for love. Which ultimately, I guess you could say that's a path of yoga, is human love. But he's not listening to talks or reading scripture or anything like that. He just says he tunes into God. And he feels this inspiration to heal and share it with others. And that really helps him. Now we can have as much of this as we want, depending on our willingness. More and more elevation of the love, more and more embracing of change. The more we embrace change in our life, the more love we'll experience. The more we resist it, the less we will. And we'll just delay the inevitable. That's all we're really doing with resistance. We're delaying the inevitable. At one point, we're all going to wake up. It's inevitable because God created us to wake up. It's God's will. And what God wills shall be done. It's already been done outside of this world. It's just that we're becoming aware of that. That's all that's happening. So the more people that become aware of it, the easier it is for that to happen. Here at Unity Church, we're to be standing for the alternative. All right, we're actually here to stand for the alternative that we already woke up, that Christ already woke up inside us, and that we're already enlightened, and that we're on the journey of discovering that here. So we're we're not here to demonstrate anything but that. That there's just one God, there's just light, there's peace. So when someone else is suffering, or we go to a wedding, or we go to a dinner, or we sit in a bonfire some nights, or we go to some kind of picnic or whatever like that, or whatever it is that we're doing, we stand for the alternative there. Here, that's what we're here to do. And there's nothing that can really stop that except for ourselves. So it's really vital that we establish whatever practice it is for ourselves to stay connected. I know I thrive in social gatherings. The more I'm connecting socially with people, the higher vibrations come into my life. I just enjoy that, but I also enjoy meditation. I enjoy prayer. I feel prayer is very powerful, praying for people. And affirmations. And affirming to myself that I am as God created me. So let's do an affirmation right now. I think you got the affirmation there. I'd like the Spirit to give me this affirmation. We'll say this together. I will embrace the power of my God self. I will do this by taking complete responsibility for all the thoughts I experience. Nothing that changes can hurt me. Therefore, I will not resist, avoid, deny, or be ashamed of the changes in my life. Because only changeless love is real. I mean, that's it there. If you can affirm that to yourself every day, that's all you need. So that guy I know that's just fallen in love, perhaps that's all he does. That's it. Affirming that all the changes in his life aren't who he really is. They're manifestations of his dream, but they're not who he really is. The changeless love is what he really is. And that's what we all are, that changeless love. So God isn't changing his opinion about us when we're in our darkest time or in our highest time. That's really what that's saying. Okay? So when we just really attacked our friend and treated them very poorly and judged them and we're feeling like crap because of that, God still loves us just as we are. That didn't change. When we treated, and I gave Connie a hug and I felt this intense love just a minute ago, God didn't change then. It didn't matter. Doesn't think more highly of me because I'm doing that, or the other way, or less of me because I'm in this low place. It doesn't change. And see, our ego cannot comprehend that. And a lot of the churches can't comprehend that. Their doctrine, it just doesn't fit into their policies, their traditions. Okay? Inside the church, there's a mystical, in each religion, there's a mystical part of them all that is doing that. And all of them, and I think it's expanding. But still, there's a lot of exclusion. Excluding certain parts. If you're not into doing this, then you're not experiencing that love. If you don't believe in a certain scripture, or you don't follow a certain path, or you're of a certain type, you're not a part of that, and it's just insane. So we're the alternative. We're embracing the changes of the world, and there's a lot of other changes that can be challenging too, like social media. A lot of communication of this. The spiritual life that we all want to embrace is going on social media. Okay? It's being delivered on YouTube and Facebook, all the certain different platforms for delivering the message. And so everyone can hear it in different ways no matter where they are. So that's another change, embracing that. So it's just a fun adventure that we're all in this in our own way, but also in a shared way. And we're supporting one another. And there's nothing that can stop it. Again, going back, there's nothing that can stop it from happening in truth. It's happening whether we like it or not. That's what the beginning of the Course in Miracles says. This is a required course. Required. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you get to establish the curriculum for your awakening. So there's certain forms in our life that may be showing up over and over and over. It's like this theme. Look for the themes in your life. The things that keep showing up over and over and over again. Maybe it's just a vibration when you're around some little anxiety. You know, you get worried about something. You're, man, things just don't feel like they're going to work out. What's that theme of? Maybe I don't trust the universe. I was talking to a priest on Friday at the rehearsal dinner. He was telling me about that. He's like, sometimes I just don't feel like I trust God. I was like, well, thanks for sharing that. I sometimes don't feel like I trust God either. Gotta get real. So I follow my path, and then I remember, everything's good, everything's wonderful. And I got to say the prayer at the rehearsal dinner, and I find since I've been doing this journey that praying has to change for me. I got to pray in a different way. I can't be praying for like a separate being to be helping me. That just doesn't work. So I said something as though that I want us all to remember who we are as God created us, and from that remembrance we have yoga. And from that place, that's when we extend it, and that's the prayer. So we're actually, as the God self, blessing the food. As the God self, we're the ones extending love to each other. There's no separation, and that's the prayer. There isn't a God outside of us that's coming through and changing us and making us blessed and having us experience new things. In a way, it's really us just becoming aware of who we really are, and that is God. God is inside us. There's no separation. And that's what yoga is. It literally means union. And this gentleman, I really can't pronounce his name, Patanjali. It says that yoga is a neutralization of ego-directed feelings. Because once these become still, the yogi realizes that he is, and that he always has been, one with the infinite. That his awareness of this reality was limited only by his infatuation with limitation. Yeah. So we're always as God created us, no matter what we do in this world. That will never change. So we either get on board with that, or we let life kind of take over and make all these changes, and it'll appear as though things are being done to us on our journey. And we will resist, and we will fight, and we will suffer, and we will feel victimized. So that's not the path that Unity Church teaches. That's not the path really that any religion teaches. However, it can be interpreted that way. But we are not interpreting it that way here. We are here to share the love and the light together. So let's take some time to meditate on this, on establishing our connection, being still to do so. Close our eyes. Take a deep breath. You can just affirm to yourself that you are as God created you. Say, I am love. I am changeless. I am powerful. I am not a victim. I am worthy. And when you say these affirmations, just try to let them vibrate through your body. Starting at the top of your head and just vibrating through your whole body and just feeling the truth of them. you may want to say something as like, I will not resist change. I will embrace change. We can center our hearts here too, and the truth of what we are. And just think of anyone right now that's dear to us, that we've encountered recently, that needs our prayers. All beings need our prayers, but let's just focus on something that we've recently encountered that needs healing. Some person, organization. And just allow an outflow of love to go to them, to it, or whatever it is. Let us join with that now. And let us decide for it, for healing. Because we are one. Because that's what is needed. It's what everyone wants is love. We have this power. We can heal others. We can bless them. We bless this church. We bless this energy in this room. We bless this city. We hold it in love. Embrace it completely. With our divine power. And keep on taking it farther if you'd like to. America. Across the seas, the whole world, to the galaxies, and to infinity. So it is. I just want to mention that Unity Church is a very special place, and there's a lot of special events going on here. And just invite you to those. This is one of the few churches in the area. there's also, if you're interested, a Course in Miracles group at the Glenwood YMCA, one of the very few Course in Miracles groups around as well. Jamie and I facilitate that. There's a lot of really cool portals to love in this area, and we can take advantage of those. So, thank you.
Thanks, Josh. One of the great things about here is our being able to have extra speakers. I can sit back there and soak it in a few times a month. So thank you very much.
Sure.
Just by the way of announcements,